We are live. We are live.
Live and alive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We're going to have Jody joining us in a minute.
Yep.
It's going to be a fun night tonight. Talk a little bit about pop culture, talk a little bit about horror. We got Lewis here with us with the Nerd Report. What's going on the West Coast out there?
Dude, it's kind of warm today. Getting ready for the 4th of July weekend. Probably going to be woken up by some really loud fireworks. And that's it. You know, maybe have a few nice dinners in the evening. So life is good.
Yeah, I hope everybody's got a long weekend like we, do.
Right.
Got those eyeballs up there. KSA, what's going on?
Can I say something real quick here? I'm gonna put this in the private chat for you to share if you can. I know this channel. I've been watching this channel for a while. I know a lot of you are on Facebook right now. The link I gave Sergeant Horror to share is for our YouTube channel. Let's get that sucker popping. I think it's, so we have 2 platforms and stuff. Make sure to subscribe and everything there. Just press the link, 100% free, 100% more support to Man Monster and the culture, the horror culture and the community here, which is awesome. I see people coming in. It's great.
What's up, everybody? What's good?
Woo! Got Jody Joe in the house. And for you guys that don't know Jody, he is a pop culture superstar on YouTube. Some of our fans are watching on Facebook. We're trying to get the YouTube channel popping. What's good with you, Jody?
What's up with it, Sergeant Horror? What's up, Lewis, man?
What's up,
good to be here, man. We about to turn it up tonight, bro. What's in there?
Yeah. Hey, I'm stalking you, Jody. I was already on one podcast with you, and I heard you were here, and I'm like, I'm gonna stalk him.
We're getting it. We're getting it, man. It's good to be here on Sergeant Horror's channel, Man Monster, and all that, bro. Talking pop culture. We're gonna convince you. We're going to convert thee from not just the horror, but to get some pop culture up in your blood veins, bro.
I want to, but it's intimidating because when horror, military movies, and urban content is the content that I usually watch. That $1 Million List in LA. I do like $1 Million List in LA and New York. But when it comes to pop culture, it's like DC, Marvel, Snyder Cut, no Snyder Cut, Superman, Batman. Who do I start with? What would you say to anybody new to pop culture what you should start with?
So pop culture is a really important thing to me, guys. Now, so much so that I'm here to try to, and all you guys know who are watching, anybody who's watching right now knows that this guy is the guy about horror. He's everything horror, interviews, conventions, cons, access, all that. But I am here with my man, Lewis. We are here today to try to show Sergeant Horror just the other side of the coin, the side that is pop culture, to expand those horizons, because horror very much is a part of pop culture. It's a phase of it. But man, there are so many other different elements to pop culture that my man Sergeant Horror don't know about yet. And with this question, which one would I try to get him to go to? Look, Lewis, I don't know how you feel, but if somebody's asking me like, hey, what like Sergeant, what about, I don't know, I'm going 1978 Superman, bro.
Oh, awesome choice, Jody.
I'm going 1978 Superman. Christopher Reeves, the quintessential superhero, took the 80s superhero movies to the next level, which fed Michael Keaton and Batman 89 and Batman Returns 1992, and then so forth. I think that's like the quintessential superhero film of all time. It's Christopher Reeves Superman 1978. I think that's a good point to start, bro.
Right. And you as a horror fan, I would start reading DC Comics. Why? Because DC Comics gets dark with the villains. Now, Superman's not supposed to be a dark character. I know people try to play him that way, but the villains in DC make the good guys shine. It's why you cheer for the good guys, because of the villains. Joker, Lex Luthor, if he's done right, the villains from Krypton. So I think DC, if you're a pure horror person, DC's got it, especially Gotham.
He don't want to read, though. He don't want to read. We're not trying to get you to read. We want them to watch some stuff, man. Like, look, reading's gonna make you bored, bro. Reading's gonna make you go to sleep. We need to get some of that visual media up in your body, my dude. You got to get some of these fire movies. Now, I said Superman because, yeah, Superman is that dude. But then there's this whole entire Dark Knight trilogy of Batman with Christopher Nolan that is like cinema fire. Like, it's not even, it's pop culture because it's Batman. But trust me, bro, I'm pretty sure you might have saw him. I don't know. That trilogy is just great cinema, period, no matter how you look at movies. Like, if you're a horror fan, you could go roll up into the Dark Knight and be like, yo, this is fire. You know what I'm saying?
We got Michael here. He says, Jody Straight Bill in the house.
What's up with it, Michael Daines? What's up with it?
We got Jason Pleasant. Joshua Pleasant says, Hope is here.
What's up, Josh? That's my guy right there. I see Ashley. What's up, girl? Belied, Ashley's here. Okay,
wow.
So see the fam is popping up. To see the fam.
I see Stanley Thornton. Stanley
Yeah.
Thornton's one of my guys right there. Stanley, thanks for the support, man.
Yeah.
We
So what y'all
appreciate
think in the
you,
chat? Y'all put it in the chat. Like, what do you think that this man should get into first? I said Superman 1978. Then after Dark Knight, you got the MCU. Man, look,
What's MCU mean?
Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's the acronym for the MCU. Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's the movies that started in 2008 with Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. And then that's what kind of, I know you guys seen all the commercials about Thanos, Infinity War, the snap. That's all MCU, baby. You know, that movie, you know, the last huge MCU film made almost $3 billion in the box office. Took the record out from Avatar. James Cameron is the #1 grossing film of all time, is Avengers Endgame. So there's a lot of box office shit in there. There's a lot of stuff that you will like. You know, I don't know what's your taste. Like, what type of stuff gets you going? Like, if you're a horror guy, what is your top 5 favorite horror films? And I'll see if I could kind of guess where you would land in pop culture.
I like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I do like the Saw movies.
I love those. I love them.
Riddler. The Riddler is very much like the Jigsaw Killer.
And then I like some of the like more realistic, like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. I like serial killer stuff. I like the original Halloween. I feel like the 80s horror was kind of like the really good horror because it was independent. They didn't have studios controlling them, and now we're getting a lot of reboots of that that older content. They're just remaking it, rebooting it.
This guy sounds like Batman to me.
Yeah, but you know what else? We got the answer right there. You like vampires?
A little bit. Sometimes
I mean, a little bit. Blade, man.
I love.
Oh
Blade.
yeah, Blade's fire. You seen Blade?
I seen Wesley Snipes down in L.A. when I was on Sunset. I didn't realize how short he was.
Okay, Blade. You like Sam Raimi?
Yeah, of course.
Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. He sneaks that same element from the Evil Dead in there.
Spider-Man is real pop and bright and light, though. Lewis, don't you think? This guy comes from
Tobey Maguire's villains were on, man.
I don't know, like this dude Sergeant Horror coming from a dark, fiery, gloomy place, bro. We got to kind of blend him on in there. I don't know if we want to go.
I have a feeling he likes clowns.
No,
Joker.
I watched the new Joker.
There's a character that looks exactly like you at the end of the movie.
And I was really excited about Harley Quinn. But then I watched Birds of Prey and I was like, how did they mess up a Harley Quinn movie? And then I turned on Birds of Prey and I was like, that's the recipe book for messing up a Harley Quinn movie.
We disown Harley Quinn and the entire Birds of Prey film. We do not claim that. We are ashamed, and we apologize greatly to people like Sergeant Horror and all the other people who wanted to come to pop culture and got a first glance at the trashness that is Birds of Prey.
Now, somebody on here said Star Wars, and I want to give you my Star Wars spiel and see if you can change my mind.
For sure.
All right.
I went into Star Wars watching it. I got into the movie. I loved the whole lightsaber thing. I loved Darth Vader. And then at the end, The Uber driver, Han Solo, gets the girl. The hero in the story does not get the girl.
He's not an Uber driver. He's a smuggler. He's a scoundrel.
He's a pizza delivery guy. He's a taxi driver for Luke.
Are we talking about the original trilogy now, or are we talking about that new
The
shit?
very first one.
What did you think of that film? Did you like it?
Up until he didn't get the girl. I mean, that's the
Who's
the
he?
hero's journey. He kissed his sister. I mean, come on.
I mean, you know, it was
He's in a
coming
farm.
though.
He was raised in a farm.
I mean, I don't want to spoil nothing, but Han does get that pussy though. It does become his. He gets that shit. So look, man, Star Wars, bro. Look, I'm not. People in the chat could feel where I'm coming from because, bro, Star Wars sucks, man. Star Wars sucks right now, bro. It's been sucking for the last 5 years, and I wouldn't recommend you get into that because it'll probably cause you confusion and a headache to the point where you might even burn your own mask. Like, that's how mad it'll probably make you, bro. So I would probably try to guide you towards maybe Batman, maybe Dark Knight trilogy, man. You can't go wrong with it. Have you seen Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises? Have you seen that by Christopher Nolan?
Is that where Christian Bale is like
Yes.
training with the ninjas like Kung Fu?
Yes, that's
Yep.
Batman Begins.
Because that was like David Carradine's Kung Fu on meets Batman when I watched that one.
Who's David Carradine? Who's that?
Kung Fu, old show. He was in
okay.
Kill Bill. David Carradine was in Kill Bill. He's Bill.
Oh, that's him? Okay.
Yeah.
He had a TV show where like basically he was trained by the Shaolin monks and then he goes around and does good in America. You know, it kind of shows you a time where the Chinese wasn't treated so well in America. They were building the railroads. And
Well, yeah, that she sounds.
That's
All
not
right.
like Batman. That's not like Batman.
Yeah. So you saw Begins. Have you seen The Dark Knight though?
yes.
All right.
Liz says the Harley Quinn adult is
I love Jody. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say.
The Harley Quinn cartoon I heard was fire. I heard it was fire. That's on the DC app. I haven't watched it, man. I'm not gonna lie. So maybe she might be upset that because of that Birds of Prey movie, I didn't watch the cartoon.
It's coming up on HBO Max. I heard HBO Max is gonna have a combo with Harley Quinn.
Here's a warning I want to give to you though, real quick, bro.
Okay.
Something that you're probably not aware of. I don't know what it's like in the horror community, and I assume it's not like this. But can I ask, is there a huge divisive part within the horror genre itself?
There are what we call horror snobs that think if you don't like the movies that they like, that you're wrong. But I foster an environment where we can agree to disagree and discuss it because I believe people like to talk about movies.
All right.
Horror fans are very traditionalist, Jody. I think they like the old horror movies with less CGI, more grounded in reality, and they're very unacceptive of remakes, like bad.
They don't like remakes. The horror genre does not.
That's what we have in common. Right?
Can I be honest with something real quick? When he said Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm guilty. I've never seen the original, but I love the 2000s version.
And those were good. Platinum Dooms did that. They were solid. Where we messed up is when they mess with the origin story of our horror icons. You know, that's
what? Like Freddy, Jason, them type of people.
Like Michael Myers, for example. You know, Blumhouse gets the rights to Halloween. They say, okay, we're going to forget the 20 million Halloween movies out there, and we're going to do a direct sequel to the original.
Yeah. 2018 Halloween was part 1, and then it was that, right? Part 1, 2, and then 2018. Is that right?
Yeah, it was part 1. They didn't even include part 2. So Halloween, the one that Blumhouse just did, is part 2, and then they're doing I think Halloween Kills. It's one of those things I want to keep up with it, but it's like it stresses me because I love Michael Myers, even though he's just Captain Kirk with a Captain Kirk mask. I love him, but it's like
he's right there. He's right there.
Yo, I heard that the sequels were pretty bad. That's why they kind of came back and rebooted it. And didn't the original creator of Halloween do the Halloween 2018? Didn't he come back to score it and do all that awesome stuff?
He scored it, but I mean, you know how the industry is. If you got $1, you can get anybody to work.
He scored it. You know what I mean? I mean, he produced it. Get it, Jody? He just
I like
my
that
name
movie.
on there.
Y'all wasn't feeling the 2018 remake? I liked it.
It was okay. So it was good, but it's redundant to the other films. It had pieces of the other films that were deleted from the because I have them all memorized. Like that, I'm a big fan. So I mean, I'm wearing the shirt right here. But yeah, so they kind of like it was redundant, and you can't say I'm gonna delete part 2, and then like this is the real part 2 when part 2 was actually really good, the original part 2. So they were asking for a lot, but yeah, those movies got wacky. A lot of them got wacky. I would say part 1, 2, and 4 were the best.
You didn't like the Season of the Witches?
I did, but I mean, as far as Michael Myers is concerned,
I like that little commercial that.
Yeah.
It flashing.
So Jody, they went part 1 in 78. Then I think 80, they went part 2 with Michael Myers as well. And then part 3, they decided to make it like a Twilight Zone with no Michael Myers. They try to like go somewhere else with it, and then the fans hated it. Right back then.
I can feel that. You know, I see where y'all coming from a little bit, but I look, man. Horror is not my forte, and we talked about that pre-show. I said I'm about to come over here and I'm about to sound like I'm out of my mind, bro, because I usually stay away from the demonic stuff, and I like I guess you subcategorize them as slashers, like Scream. I know what you did last summer, and I love me some Saw. So I think Saw was like my real big dive into really appreciating a franchise that lived within the horror genre. Saw movies really tickle my fancy. I love violence. I love blood. I love guts. I love the psychological thrill that is watching a jigsaw puzzle unfold. His voice, you're not worthy of the body you possess. That shit makes me feel sometimes. It's smart. It's clever. And the Saw movies really tickle my fancy, man. All seven of them, huh? And there's a new one coming out with Chris Rock.
The last one. And the Chris Rock one looks awesome.
That one's coming out. That looks fire. So they're really so you don't. So that's kind of like a reboot. Y'all are against the Chris Rock one, kind of, right?
It's not a reboot. In my opinion, that one acknowledges the past films. So I'm going to give it a chance. It acknowledges that the past films happened. It's not saying, "Hey, forget about all the movies that came before. This is the real Saw," which is kind of like a slap in the face. This one looks like it's saying a long time ago, the Jigsaw Killer existed. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, anything with Chris Rock is an amazing actor. So anything he's affiliated with, I want to at least check out. You got my interest, Pete. And when you mix Chris Rock with Saw, it's like, what in the world is he going to come at you with? I mean, he's been in the game a long time, and he knows how to entertain.
Well, one thing that my good friend Evan McGar said, that comedians know how to work your emotions. I didn't believe him at first. And then I started seeing when comedians started getting cast in dramas and in horror movies, I was like, holy cow, these guys know what they're doing. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, Isabella says if you saw Saw, you should check out some old school Vincent Price films.
I don't know who that is or what those are.
Vincent Price is like old school, 50s horror, 60s.
I've seen Psycho. Love that movie.
So Vincent Price narrated Thriller with Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The voice
scary.
In the background,
got a definitely scary voice, definitely.
Hey, Yellow says Chris Rock cannot act, and he looks stupid trying to act.
Yellow, what's up?
Look at this fool.
Yellow, what's up, man? Thanks for coming.
Yeah, but Chris Rock know how to get that money. I mean, wasn't he what was it, Pookie in New Jack City?
Yeah, but we ain't seen Chris Rock do anything really tight in movies in a minute. I really wasn't feeling top 5.
The trailer looks tight though.
The trailer.
I can't wait. That's one of my top ones.
So-
Jody, could I ask you a question?
Yeah, what's up?
I always wonder because I've been following you for a long time. I'm really actually, although I do have a YouTube channel, I'm a fanboy of Jody's. I've told you that already. So I'm kind of giddy right now.
Thanks,
I get to
man.
go on
This is
him.
crazy.
Go on him. I mean, go on with you. You won't let me go on you though. Oh no, wait.
I would. Sus gang all day. God. Sus gang all day.
So I was going to ask you because that's something you've been consistent with. I noticed that you say you don't like demonic horror. Is there a particular reason for that? I do have a reason why I don't like them, and the reason for me is because what are the rules with like Insidious and The Conjuring? It just keeps going over and over. It's like, how do you beat the bad guy? And it gets redundant. That's why I don't like them. But is there a reason why you don't like them?
Yeah, it's a religious background. When I was a kid, my mom kept me from them. She said we don't do that, and I just kept it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Scared me as a kid, and I still have trepidation with it today. So I just stayed with that.
Okay.
I have a question, man, because I know a lot of people that are probably in the chat viewing from Jody's Court. I see Belied, Keel Bands, Ashley, Joshua, and his motherfucker, bro. Tyree in the house. I see all y'all up in here. What's up with the mask, man? Can you explain what's going on here? What this? It looks like a real face.
I don't.
What are you talking about?
It doesn't.
This is how I look every day, 24/7. This is my swag.
That looks. You look scary.
Nah, nice guy. I was in the Marines. I spent 10 years in the Marines. I just like horror stuff. I live on a farm in North Carolina.
Country, love horror.
I'm vegan.
Vegan. Isn't that a pig? Isn't that like a pig mask, kind of?
But he could be a pig and not eat other pigs.
Tight.
You know what I mean?
That looks like movie grade quality right there, bro.
Oh, Jody, that reminds me that you said that. One thing about horror conventions, because you brought up cosplayers in your last video, experiences with cosplayers at regular cons.
Right.
A lot of them, and not all of them, at regular cons are a-holes. They're people who like if they are in a regular atmosphere, setting, they don't get any attention, and then all of a sudden they dress up like a comic book character, and everybody wants to take a picture of them, so they act like snobs, right?
Right.
Okay, in a horror community, from what I've seen, as I'm a straight guy, right? So when I see ladies at regular cons, they try to sexy themselves up, and show off and stuff, which nothing wrong with that. That's cool. I like it.
I love it.
At horror cons, though, they will go screen accurate and blow half their face off, like with blood and everything. So they don't. They try to scare the out of you, right?
Yeah.
It's not that much about like sex appeal. If the character's sexy, cool. But if it's not accurate, they will like F themselves up, like half blown up, effed up face. So that's something I really do like.
Yeah, man.
Yellow says, I'm a nice guy. I was a Marine. What in what way was the Marine supporter you being a nice guy? I mean, the Marines do have a certain reputation, but it's the whole, the Marine Corps characteristics, the honor, the commitment. The motto for the Marine Corps is Semper Fidelis, always faithful. You're faithful to God, country, and Corps. It gives you discipline. I mean, I was an undisciplined kid from a bad neighborhood, and it gave me an opportunity to get out of a bad situation and get a college education because they give you money to go to school. And, I didn't follow the same path that kids that I grew up with did, who ended up either dying or being in prison. So it was either, when I was growing up, either I, go one way and end up spending 10, 20 years in the penitentiary, or getting out of the neighborhood in the situation I was in, and doing something positive with my life. And that was the closest thing that I could.
What was the slogan for the Marines again?
Semper Fidelis. It means it's Latin for always faithful.
Superman's your hero. Watch Christopher Reeve Superman. I think we got it.
That's what I came out the gate with, bro. I said, man, you ain't gonna go wrong with Superman, Christopher Reeve. You ain't never seen Christopher Reeve Superman? No, he might have saw it. You ain't never seen it?
I ain't never seen.
Man, so there's a lot of pop culture movies and superhero movies that you just have not seen.
Now I did watch. What was that guy named Spawn? I like Spawn.
That's awesome, right?
The Hardy, Hardy, Tom Hardy. He played that character. He did good. I like that movie.
Wait,
you're
Venom?
talking about Venom.
You doing Venom?
That's right. I told you.
Fuck.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's cool.
That's tight. He doesn't know shit about pop culture. That's awesome.
For real.
Have you seen Winter Soldier?
The Captain America. I've seen that. I seen the first one where he's like a little scrawny kid, and then they put him in a machine and they turn him. That was tight. I don't kind of understand some of the. He goes to sleep and then wakes up 20 million years later and he misses out on the. I mean, what's up with these movies that don't give the guy the girl? I mean, there's no point of being a superhero if you don't get the girl.
So I guess you're used to it in horror movies. It kind of resolves itself in one film, maybe two. With these superhero films, usually pop culture movies, takes 2, 3, sometimes 4 movies for them to finally get that push. The Bush be dodging for a long time.
In the horror movies, they just usually use chloroform and get them.
Like Peggy Carter in the first Captain America movie, the chick with the red hair and the bazooka titties. You remember how she looked, right? She was fine. I'm a motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
Bro, would you believe that it took this motherfucker probably 10 years to smash? He just hit that pussy last year. It took Endgame. What was it, Endgame? It was Endgame, right? It took Endgame for him to finally be with his girl. That's some. But then the MCU is, it's real kiddie, it's lighthearted. I would definitely say go somewhere. You would want to go to the real side, which is some DC shit, Christopher Reeve Superman, and then start to go Dark Knight and then the DC universe and shit. Have you seen the Dark Knight with the Heath Ledger's Joker?
I did watch that one years ago when it first came out because Heath Ledger was a great actor and he was taken too soon. And I thought that he did great with that character. And I watched the recent Joker, and I was kind of wanting something a little more aggressive, not a movie about mental health.
Well, you like what, chopping heads off and blood and guts and shit?
Yeah, it's like you ever, which I don't read the comics, I don't know, we're just talking. To me, if you said, hey, what's up with Joker? He would just be like a guy that one day snapped and just don't give a dag. So it would just be like, I don't know. I like that Jared Leto or whatever that cat's name is that played Joker in the Suicide Squad.
So a lot of us,
he's got to have some hip hop swag.
A lot of us do not like Jared Leto's Joker.
No, a lot of us.
But he did more than cry.
He what?
He did more than just sit around and cry.
He was whipped
over Heath Ledger, though, man. Shit. You like
Ledger's dead, so we can't go back to that.
Yeah, but Jared Leto, all he did was like he was just after his girlfriend. I mean, that's not crazy. That's what every guy in LA does.
Yeah, but if that lady that played Harley Quinn was really Harley Quinn and she broke you off some, Lewis, you'd be after her like that too.
Well, you got to remember though.
You
got to remember though, the Joker's crazy. So a sane person would. Joker doesn't give a crap. That's what's awesome. Jared Leto was like, he worked at what's that place? He looked like he worked at Hot Topics.
You're like a Hot Topic employee.
And by the way, Hot Topics did have an exclusive with Suicide Squad. So I don't know, man. That may have been done on purpose.
So look, man, I would say definitely DC's your angle. I feel like, when you explain to me, I kind of get the gist that the horror community is pretty tight-knit and appreciative.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to assume that. Now, when it comes to Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Star Trek, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, the Game of Thrones, the fan bases are toxic, man. Like truly toxic. If you're
even
DC
Lord of the
fan,
Rings, Jody,
I got a huge amount of hate from Lord of the Rings fans for not finishing the trilogy and put it. They got on my sheet heavy. So And then on my channel, in my experience, Lord of the Rings versus Game of Thrones was a huge thing where people they were, one bashing the other, one bashing the other. I'm gonna say that DC fans don't like Marvel fans. Marvel fans don't like DC fans. Star Wars fans think they're better than Marvel and DC fans. And then you got Game of Thrones fans who just love the show no matter what, regardless of how bad and trash the writing is. Star Wars fans who are just toxic through and through. It's a whole lot of bullshit and like class levels and shit that you got to be aware of, man. And I'm sad that it's like that.
And everyone loved Battlestar Galactica, by the way.
What about that movie? I'm gonna probably mess up the name of it. Starship Troopers.
Yeah, that was good. It was a spoof on. It's kind of spoofy. It's like kind of like in the same tone. It has the same tone as RoboCop. Same producer and director.
Starship Troopers. Made us read that and watch that in the military.
They made you watch that. The book is different than the movie, from what I understand.
Yep. That was kind of interesting. But that's one of the things that I've shied away from going into the superheroes, because my policy is this. You could be different than I am, and you can not like The Exorcist, but like watching Saw, and we can get along and talk about movies. But every time I've approached someone and I was like, okay, what should I start with, DC or Marvel? They all want to get aggressive because I don't sit around and remember every line of every movie and the year it came out and who pooed it while it was filmed.
Yeah, we call those dweebs. That's what we call those. We call them straight dweebs. Sycophantic freak fanboys is what we call them. Freak them.
Yeah, I feel like I got Google, so I don't need to remember nothing. I can just Google it.
Well, the bridge for me, look, I would say do DC, do Christopher Reeve, and then go into V for Vendetta is a really good film, bro.
V for Vendetta is amazing.
Like V for Vendetta tells truths about today like no other movie. V for Vendetta, in my opinion, is the single greatest comic book movie ever made. That's just me. And then it's Dark Knight Rises. Come at me, bro. Freak y'all. What's
Dark
up
Knight Rises is underrated.
Underrated as shit. What's up? Bane all day. Anyway, I think V for Vendetta is something that you would enlighten and appreciate too. You know what I'm saying? The aspect, the political viewpoints of it. It has superhero mixed with political agendas and mixed with sociological ideology, mixed with relationships and idea. It's amazing, bro. I think that V for Vendetta is something that you might want to hit.
Come at me, bro. Come at me.
Watch
what's up, man? See what you thought this was. You thought this was, honey?
I thought that was for that anonymous group.
Man, I got the wig too, bro. What's up? And I got the wig. What's good?
Oh, you got the wig, man.
What's up? What's up? Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder and treason and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. It's quite lovely under this mask. Hello. Shout out to my freaking V, bro. Hey, this mask is gonna mean a lot to you, bro.
It's a pleasure meeting you, Jody.
Your sheet look low grade. I try. My sheet is ceramic.
No, your shit's good. But see, mine's battle. That's the reason it's yellow. It's because it's battle tested.
I see. Eyes. Yeah, I would say once you see the movie, bro, this mask is gonna mean something to you even more than Anonymous.
Anonymous copied it.
Anonymous, exactly. Anonymous it gets it from V for Vendetta, bro. Because this man, whose name is V in this mask, this motherfucker is a straight G, bro.
I'm gonna have to check that out. So Superman, the original Christopher Reeve Superman. I'm putting him down my homework. Now, should I watch all the ones with Christopher Reeves in it, or just the first one?
I like 2.
The first two.
Although 3 has Clark versus Superman. That's awesome.
Superman 1 is the more iconic film, but Superman 2 is a better Superman movie Superman 2 is my favorite Superman movie.
Superman 2?
Yeah, but I say Superman 1 because it's like that introduction, it's the origin, It's the ideals. It shows you who he is, what he's about. Superman 2, it just kind of takes off from there, and it's great. The Zod fight in New York was freaking fire, bro.
And Superman 1 has like 4 acts. Like usually movies have 3 acts. Superman 1 has Krypton, Smallville, Metropolis, and then the battle with the Batman villain, which is like, it's weird the way it's structured. But I would say the first 2 acts with Krypton and Smallville, it's a masterpiece. Yep. It's written by Mario Puzo, who wrote The Godfather. That's how much love is in there.
I got it right here. Got it right here on 4K, bro. Superman 1978 released 4K HDR, baby. Let's go. It's right there.
Now, y'all are out there in LA, and you see a lot of things from the industry. It seems like everything's kind of been put on hold with the COVID-19. What do you think of all the stuff that's between COVID-19, the social unrest we're having? What's your feelings on all that's going on?
You want to hit that, Lewis?
Dude, man, it hurts because the reason I created like these websites were for escapism from stuff like that. And I think this is nothing new. It's been around for a long time because unfortunately, a lot of people in the entertainment industry, I'm not just talking about actors, producers and stuff, have been bringing like toxic, their point of view of politics, trying to shove them down our throat, kind of like how you feel with Marvel and stuff like that, and DC, how people are. It's like we want to escape. We want a moment to like. I feel it's real important that we have moments where we could just shut off our brain, hang out with people, regardless, and just have a good time. And I think we've been robbed of that for a couple years, and I think it's peaking right now. I don't understand why in the social unrest. I don't understand why people would hate each other for color and all that nonsense. And the COVID thing, I think, man, it's tough because it got politicized, and like you don't know exactly what's real or fake anymore and stuff like that. I'm just grateful I can hang out with you three. I mean, you two, and everyone here. That's all I could say. I still feel blessed because I know people like you, and I could hang out with you. I hope it's over soon. Maybe by the end of the year we could go back to normal. The last movie I saw was what is it? Bloodshot with Jody. Yeah. So if I never go to the movies again, at least it
was nice kicking it, man. It was nice watching that film, bro. It was tight.
But Jody, what do you think, man? Because I mean, you
look, bro. I'm from the hood, man. I'm black, bro. This shit been unfair since birth. So I'm used to it, man. I'm used to starting at a disadvantage. I'm gonna say right now, man, it's really nice to see young black people out there protesting like that, and old black people riding with the young black people and protesting and getting stuff done. It looked like some change is actually gonna come from this shit. That's what makes me feel good. I really feel like I was here. The 92 riots was a motherfucker. Rodney King was a motherfucker. The Watts riots was before my time and era. And I feel like with this here, I think that's going to be some change. That's what I think. I think there's going to be some laws that's going to be changed. But at the end of the day, you cannot put a law to change the human condition. There is going to be racist no matter what. I feel like racism is something that will exist. I think racism is something that is taught, something that could be raised. And even if the law says all people are free and should be treated a certain way, don't mean that they're going to raise their kids in the privacy of their home that way. So as black people, we need to protect ourselves at all times, regardless if we have the law on our side or not, because who's going to be enforcing the laws? Law needs to be enforced. It's law enforcement is more law enforcement is more oppressive than the laws themselves when it comes to black people, bro. Because you could determine and interpret a law however you want. It's the motherfuckers in the streets that'll snatch you up and bust your head open that you're worried about. So if they do police reform, cool. If they do a law where they got to get taught a certain different way and defund them, cool. But still, bro, I don't think that's gonna change. I think it's gonna take like a cool everything that's been taking place in the last month in this country, I don't think we're going to start seeing the effects of that for another 20 years in the future. Like, I feel like the next generation are going to benefit the most from what's going on in 2020.
I look at it and I kind of feel like this is, in my opinion, I came from a neighborhood too that was very diverse during the crack epidemic. And, I remember, I'm not that old, but I remember when Spike Lee released Jungle Fever, that was a controversial movie.
Yep.
And now we've come a little bit and there's a lot more to go. And, as a military person, watching that whole George Floyd video just broke my heart because they train us on how to detain people. I've been Bosnia, I've been, over in the Mediterranean, I've been to Africa on peacekeeping missions, and you have to detain people. And the first thing they teach us is when you detain somebody in a military environment, which is a lot worse than a lot of the streets in America, being in a third world country where they're fighting a revolution, you're responsible for that person you're detaining, their safety and their security. And I really feel like I hope they get good, honest reform. It upsets me because this is like the third wave of what I consider the Black Lives Movement. The original Black Lives Matters movement was NWA when they said F the police. And everybody rallied behind that. And I feel like right now, everybody's kind of rallying behind it now. But we need to get real reform and not just people talking about it. And it gets me that in North Carolina, for example, which is where I'm from, I see a lot of people commenting about, where my accent's from is North Carolina. In North Carolina, the man that we give the gun to that can arrest you or shoot you, that has the power of the law to take your freedom, only has to have a 16-week course at a community college to be a sworn law enforcement officer.
Say that again.
That is 16 weeks. Okay, so that man arrests me. He's got 16-week education. When I go before the judge, I need a lawyer with 9 years. So if it takes the lawyer 9 years of education to learn the law, and he's just talking in court, the man we give a gun has a 16-week education. Come on now. And the other thing, I'm just gonna let it out. I mean, this is just I've had this on my chest. I'm just let it out. The other thing is we got to stop hiring cops that are afraid of minorities. If you're afraid of a black man, and you do not need to be a police officer.
You think they're afraid of black people? You think they're
afraid of everybody? The guys around here that are getting hired as cops, yeah, you got some good cops, and God bless the good ones, but you got a way more bad ones. A lot of the guys that become police officers are the guys that were bullied in high school.
Facts.
They got a chip on their shoulder, so they think they're going to get a badge, and now they're really badass.
Yep.
And then the other thing, and this might not be popular, I don't agree with them hiring so many military veterans as police officers, and that's coming from a military veteran.
Why you say that?
A decade of service.
Why you say that?
Because a combat mission, is different than domestic policing. A combat mission, your mind is in a whole nother area, and it's hard. Trust me, it's hard to flip that into to being nice to somebody on the street.
That's a good point.
And we need to do away with that. But it's just sickening that we're here in 2020, and there's always going to be racism, but we need to weed it out as much as we can. And we need to weed it out in a meaningful way, because the other thing that gets me is there's a lot of lip service done, but there's not much action. And these guys, I see them out there protesting them, bless them. But I also want to see you out there running for office, running a Fortune 500 company, see you succeeding in life. Because when we have a diverse people sitting in Congress, not the same people, that have been there since segregation. A lot of our lawmakers have been in Washington, D.C. since we were debating segregation. We need to get them out of there and get some young John F. Kennedy types that's in there that has some passion and that'll give us meaningful reform. And I'm sorry, that's just something that's been burning on me, and I just let it off my chest, man.
You know what happens in the pop culture community too is like, for example, me as someone who covers film, I feel like I have to work 5 times harder than everybody. Like they freaking demonetized my channel for 11 years, man. I've lost co-host because I told him not to cuss before even YouTube was even implementing rules against saying bad words. I ran my channel like fucking Mary Poppins and the Brady Bunch, and they went and demonetized my channel. And like, I don't like talking about race and shit, but there's a lot of other like middle-aged white dudes that deserve to be interviewing, but they're still monetized talking to Jason Momoa the same way I did. It's the same. It's it's a different interview, obviously, but why was I demonetized? It just gets weird. Like, you got to ask that question. And like when Jody, I've seen him on his channel, talk about this stuff, and people are like, oh, you're just complaining. Man, until you walk in our shoes, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? And that's why you got to let it go. Walk in our shoes, then you'll be talking more than us. Trust me. But I mean, I have rage inside too, man. I try to keep it calm, but come on. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of talk. Sergeant Horror is right. It's nice right now, everybody with the hashtag. But are you going to keep that shit up 6 months from now when it's not cool anymore? Let's see how you change your lifestyle, because your past lifestyle wasn't like that. Were you inclusive with people? Is your friends, are your group of friends diverse? Were they like that a couple years ago, or did you just start doing it now? Because I can tell you right now, my friends have always been diverse because I look for the best people to hang around with. And when you look for the best people to hang around with, your friendship, your circle will be diverse. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I had an experience. Let me throw this out here, then I'm going to throw it to you, Jody. One of the things that happened in my life that just changed my life forever in my perspective in regards to race is I experienced something that most people that are Caucasian never experience. At 19 years old, I went to Africa. And I was out on a peacekeeping mission by myself, had a driver from an embassy, and we went out in the country. And we pulled up in this village, and these little kids ran up to me, and they started rubbing my arm. And I asked the driver, I said, what are they doing? And they're like, they think the white's going to rub off. They've never seen a white person. And that whole experience just gave me more of an appreciation for what I see people go through. Well, I'll never fully understand what it's like to be a minority, but having that little experience is just an eye-opener.
I'm gonna say, like, I appreciate all the stuff that I'm hearing y'all sharing y'all stories, and that's dope because I feel like it's real. But like what Nada said in the chat, she's in the chat earlier. Here's a problem I got. She black, she from the South, and she said, South Georgia, we don't go there. Like there's still places in the country black people don't go. What type of shit is that? When you think about like America, right? Yeah, the South is the most racist part of this country for sure. But dang, bro, in 2020, there's still places in the South where black people don't go. Like, nigga, that gotta be done. That should have been done 50 years ago. Why does something like that still exist, bro? Why is it I'm just now seeing that who did it? The state of Georgia. Lo and behold, they just voted to take away the Confederate flag or something off of their flag. That shit is crazy, man. Is that real, bro? Like, y'all know you're in North Carolina, but is there?
Yeah, there are places, and this is the other thing. Not only is there places that you don't go as a minority, there's places in Georgia that you don't go as a friend of minorities. Like if you're cool and you're hip and if you pull up in certain places and you got the Baby or 50 Cent or somebody on the radio, you get it can get hectic real quick.
Like, what do you mean it could get hectic? Like, all right, look, I'm down in South Georgia bumping 50 and shit. G-Unit. What? We in here. What? We good. It was going around. What up, blah? What up, cuz? What up, blah? What up, gangsta? I'm just playing. We don't play that. We don't play that. G-Unit. We don't play it. I'm bumping that shit in the South. What could happen to me? What's my experience like?
A lot of times in certain areas, which is not my area because I don't associate with that element, but you see guys, they get defensive. They take anything that's not their redneck culture. They take that as a threat, and they feel threatened and afraid. And they the bottom line is if somebody's racist and they take it there because they're insecure about themselves. And I like it when guys expect me to behave a certain way, and I got that 50 bumping, because I'm like, say something. I dare you, say something. It's 2020.
Bruh, that's crazy to me, man. Look, me and Lewis, we in LA. We can do whatever we want. Thank goodness for that. But bro, where people be like, look, I don't want to go there, because it makes me think. I know them cops got to be racist in the motherfucker.
I mean, and it doesn't matter what race the police officer is. It's like this institutional racism.
I was about to say that, like systemic racism, right?
Yep. And the other thing that kind of breaks my heart, I know we talk about the South, but when I go up to New York City and you see the areas, like Staten Island, for example. I love Staten Island, Wu-Tang, home of the Wu-Tang. Some of the best underground rappers are coming out of Staten Island right now. But you got one side of Staten Island that's Republican and all rich, and the other side, like Park Hill, it's almost like a third world country. We cannot have an environment where certain elements of our population are growing up without hope. Because when you take people's hope away, we can never survive as a country.
When I went to New York last November, was there last October. And I've talked to a couple of people, one who was one of the ferry guys who drives the ferry, one guy who sells the tickets to take the ferry to Staten Island. New Yorkers seem to have a negative viewpoint towards people from Staten Island. What the freak? What's that about? Have you guys noticed that, or am I tripping?
I've never been to New York, unfortunately.
We need to go to New York.
New York is popping, but yeah.
Are we going to be hanging around Arizona for Mad MonsterCon?
You need to come out there with us, Jody, and hang out next time we have a con, man. It's not
October.
I'm down to pull up, but I don't think it's going down this year, bro. With Arizona in the red zone, right? Arizona tripping out right now.
It's still scheduled. It depends on what happens,
It may still go on, so we'll see.
I mean, I'm sorry to get off on that tangent like that, but it's just enough.
I think it needs to be talked about. It's in the pop culture now. Even if we want to escape, we got to talk about it. And I've been seeing shit that I don't really talk about because I'm kind of like, I work with the studios a lot, but I'm like two button away from telling half these people F you, because they're all being like cheerleaders with their hashtags. And like, I call it, how would you call that? They're projecting, and they never acted like this before. I see all their friends. They look exactly like them, have the same ideas, and they're not very inclusive. And then now they're like, hey, the hashtag of the week. But they weren't like this years ago. You know what I mean? They lived a different life.
And hopefully they stay like this, because if they don't, I say we call them out and put them on the map.
I will. I will. But there's a lot of hypocrisy, man.
Because my philosophy has always been, there's this thing called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And it basically says that all human beings have the same needs: food, shelter, security, and the belief of something bigger and better in life. And regardless of your race, color, creed, your background, we all have the same basic needs. It's not hard to get along with your neighbor. I mean, even if you don't like somebody, you don't have to accept them. You can be tolerant and not harm them. I mean, I
Jealousy's a motherfucker, bro. Jealousy's a motherfucker, man.
jealousy
People,
is.
they see that and they see you doing living good or enjoying life. Because they don't enjoy theirs, they feel some type of way for it. You know what I'm saying? And this ain't just a black white thing. Niggas get robbed by other niggas too all the time. Oh, you shining? Nice rims, homie. Let me get those real quick. You know what I'm saying? That's how it be. So Rodney
It's
said,
serious in LA. Like,
yeah, it's real out here. Yeah, it's real. It's real.
I mean, that was the first time you mentioned the Rodney King riots. You know, I decided as a young North Carolinian that I wanted to see what California was like. And I went out there and, you know, went down to LA, and it was right after the riots. And that was an eye-opening situation right there. I mean,
you probably saw some burned down buildings, some unfinished shit.
I actually got off on the wrong bus stop, and I was in a neighborhood that was not safe for me. And 4 young gangbangers came up to me and waited for the next bus to come so I wouldn't get jumped.
See, that's tight. I was just about to say that. Look, why is it that here's what I'm going to say in defense of my people, man. We are so welcoming to other races. We're so welcoming to like people who are out of their element. Like you, white boy, come in the hood, something like that. We like, you know, we're not trying to press you, man. We just want to be equals, bro. That's really what it is. White boy come on the basketball court, like, yo, I want to hoop. We'll laugh, giggle, or something like, yeah, you can ball. All right, come on, let's see what you got. It's more of a welcoming thing. On the other side, when it comes to a lot of white people, and then here comes a black person, it's a lot of animosity, man. It's a lot of that vibe is a motherfucker, bro, and it's not the same. They're not as embracing to blacks as blacks are embracive to whites. You know what I'm saying? That's what I've noticed.
That's one of the things like that. Growing up in a neighborhood that was very diverse. You talked about like white people coming through the hood. I've seen some comments on that. When you're growing up in a neighborhood, the only thing you can think about is getting yourself out of that situation, because nobody likes to not have money, to fear for your security. But one of the things I've always just blew my mind is we talk about supporting black-owned businesses. But in my neighborhood where I come from, we wouldn't let a black person or a white person have a business, but we'll let someone from a whole nother culture or country come in and set up shop that don't even speak our language and treat us like crap.
Yep.
And that really burns me up, you know.
I'm gonna throw out an insecurity right now. I'm gonna throw out my own personal insecurity and share it with the viewers. When I see big white man and he got them blue eyes and that really blonde hair and shit, and then when he starts to talk like Sergeant Horror talk, I'm nervous than a motherfucker, bro. I'm instantly like, is this Food Clan? Like, yeah, man, that shit, bro. That what you doing around here, nagger? That whole country shit, bro. That shit, I'd be intimidated and be like, what the freak?
I have a story, Jody. Check this one out. My first Mad Monster, I was flirting with a girl before I went over there because I was single, and I would talk to her, you know, on the internet and on the phone, and she sounded like Sergeant Horror, even heavier accent actually. So I got there at Charlotte, North Carolina, and I started talking to her, you know, and then her dad shows up, and I'm like, oh shit, like, because you've heard the stories that they're gonna freaking, and I'm sorry, I thought this, but it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They're gonna fucking cook me and eat me in the chili. And then so, man, but the guy was so nice to me. I was like, what the hell? And he was following me. Like later on, you know, I met him and we're cool. Later on, he's like, hey man, what kind of comics do you like? What's good and everything. He was such a nice guy. But there was that feeling, you know, and I like to believe that most people are actually good, but it's the evil people that stand out. Unfortunately, you know, that's the big problem.
Yeah, it really bothers me that people associate racism with the Southern accent.
Yeah, I don't know why that is, bro, but you know, media or something, bro.
Look at the movies. the movies.
Yeah, bro, that shit is she's scary.
But I don't blame you because I get nervous when I hear somebody that's a little too country.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Why? Do you feel privileged?
It's okay. I'll speak on white privilege. I feel lucky that I came out of a bad situation where I probably should have ended up in prison. I feel like I do have, some privilege, and I've always tried to. Let me back that up. One of the things the Marine Corps taught me was about being a leader. And when you become a leader and you start being in charge of people, you use your leadership authority as a way to help your subordinates rise up and one day become a leader too. So the way the Marines judge a leader is how you lead other people that one day they can be a leader like you. And that's how I feel about any type of privilege that I've had, is that you should use any type of privilege to help the people that are being discriminated against, because color of your skin doesn't have anything to do with what's in your heart.
True that.
And there's crappy people. And I've seen, I mentioned I was in Liberia.
Freak.
And
I'm getting wrecked in the chat, bro. Motherfucker just said black privilege exists. What is it? What's black privilege? Please.
See, this is what I think. They want us arguing about white and black.
Let's not argue.
No.
Let's
who the freak?
have
What
a
is
conversation.
that?
What does he mean? What does he mean?
What is two people said it. I need definitions of black privilege from Mr. Robot and from Dr. Doom. Please, I need an example from each of y'all, bro. Educate me. I'm a dry sponge. Soak me with your water of knowledge on black privilege, please. I am wrecked, but my bad, Sergeant Warren. Yeah, you was onto some fire shit just now, bro.
I'm sorry. Well, but I mean,
no black privilege coming to Jody. The guy works fucking super hard. I'm even about to ask him, does he even fucking sleep? Or are there two of you or something?
I wish there was two of
me.
Your
ass off, man.
I wish there were two of me. I'm at the point where I wish I had a clone, bro. That's where it's at. I get so much done. There's so much I want to do, and I just feel like not enough of me to go around.
But let's look at this though. Most
black
people in the
privilege
chat,
is scholarships dedicated strictly to black people. Oh my god. You talking about like a 5% window that's dedicated for black people because the other 95% is dedicated to usually white people? People of privileged income levels and backgrounds? Stop it, bro. Yeah, stop it, man. Stop it. That's some bullshit. Black privilege is scholarship. 95% is regular, but we gotta make sure this 5% acceptance rate goes to blacks. That's the black privilege, huh? That 5%. You won't even let us get 5%. Let us all share that shit. How about that? How about 50-50? What about that? What about 50%? 50% people of color, 50% white. That's pretty nice.
See, when I hear somebody about like that, I'm just gonna keep it 100 with everybody. I mean, I'll just be real with this. When I hear somebody white bitch about black people getting college scholarships and shit,
that's crazy.
I came up dirt fucking poor. Right? This makes me mad, and I'm sorry. I wanted to go to college. I currently have a master's degree. Why? Because I got off my damn ass and joined the Marine Corps. So if you little white rednecks sitting around bitching about black people, go join the military. They got to think about the damn GI Bill.
Boom, motherfucker.
There's no excuse, man. I'm sorry. I don't know how we went from Superman to freaking.
He said, all right, I'm done. I'm done with this ignorant motherfucker. Black privilege is being given a job and not being qualified. What the heck?
What's an example of that?
No, the example is you're not qualified, but we have to hire a black person so you're getting hired.
Never seen that.
Look at the employment rate of a company. If Microsoft has to, there's laws of diversity laws about your employees. Oh, we need to have 9 black people a part of our employment, according to our 2,000 employees, 80% which are white. So let's make sure we get these 9 black employees hired, and they might not be as qualified as this or this, but because they're black, they should get in. Don't you see that the problem is that there's only 9 getting hired? That's the problem. Not the fact that of the nine, whatever the little small percentage getting hired is under qualified or not, it's the fact that there has to be just 9. And they always go with that minimum. What is the minimum the law allows? 5%. Well, we'll go with 5% blacks. How about that? That's bullshit. Freak out of here with that bullshit you talking, man. You sound crazy in the motherfucker right now.
Yeah,
but
I hate that we got 3 different people with 3 different backgrounds that can sit in here and come together and have a good time and entertain and be successful.
Yeah, man, that's dope. What I've been hearing from you so far, man. That's tight. I look forward to doing more of these collaborative streams and stuff, man, and learning more about safe horror. Like, can I ask you a question back to the horror stuff? What is? I don't want to do demonic horror.
I got something for you. I got something.
What you got for me? What you got?
The Hills Have Eyes remake.
I heard that was demonic.
No.
There's no.
Is that the monsters who are like half mutated and shit?
Yep.
But they're not supernatural though.
No.
Right? It's chemicals probably.
It's nuclear bomb hit it. So I mean, a good horror movie follows, in my opinion, a good horror movie follows the formula. You take 4 or 5 people, you isolate them in a situation, and you kill most all of them with some kind of crazy killer.
All right.
It's not hard. The studios make it hard.
And like Halloween kind of borders on like Michael Myers just being a straight up slasher crazy dude. Yep. But then there's like this weird wait, is he supernatural? Does he have a supernatural? But they never tell you he does. It's just mild, which is awesome. But I'm like with Jody. I like straight up, just like dude with a knife.
The Hills Have
Eyes. You watch The House of 1,000 Corpses or Devil's Rejects?
Man, I don't like those personally.
Those are slashers, and those are pretty good.
Really? Devil's Rejects, I like.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I wouldn't steer you to anything because I know you don't like demonic. When people talk about horror, to me, it's all a personal experience of what you like as a person. And I think definitely The Hills Have Eyes, the remake, would be something you would enjoy, especially when you enjoyed the remakes of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I'm gonna check it then. I'm gonna watch it because what else besides that? What else besides The Hills Have Eyes though?
I would say if you hadn't seen the original Friday the 13th, Kevin Bacon's in it. That's a really good one.
I have that on Steelbook. Shout out to Paramount. I'll check that one out too, for sure. Because that one's about the mother, not him, right? She's killing people, right?
Yep,
for sure.
Spoiler.
Yeah, someone told me.
I didn't know. Just kidding.
And all you guys that are tuning in, I know y'all see me. You're like, man, horror. I don't know if I like horror, but what I am is I'm an entertainer, and we all are. And it's about getting together as a community and hanging out and having fun.
Yep, that's what it's about.
But I know you guys have been generous with your time. We've been on here about an hour, which is usually what we go for, but I'm sorry I got fired up tonight, but I'm glad I got to get.
What you mean, man? That passion needs to flow, bro. It's only gonna happen more the more and more we do these streams, bro. I'm gonna be coming back as soon as I can to do more of this, picking your brain and you picking mine. I like this shit, bro. So I think that passion is something that I respect. Roll with that shit, bro. Don't be afraid, shame of it.
I appreciate you. Everybody, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you like it, what you see, be sure to follow the channel. If you guys on Facebook that's not on YouTube, follow it. You need to follow Jody's Corner. Deep, some great pop culture stuff. and a good, very entertaining. And the Nerd Report, he always nerdy things up when he comes in here. So y'all guys need to definitely follow him. But if you guys need anything, you know where I'm at. And I appreciate y'all and thank everybody for watching. And I hope you all have a great 4th of July weekend. And thanks for
Same to you, bro. Woo! Same to you, man. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.